Yo, did you get the invitation that I sent you? To the variegation party. Oh, you want to know who all is going to be there? Well, let me give you the rundown. Ew, what is this here? No, sir, I'll have a glass of one of your top shelf beverages. Oh, so you don't want none of the, you want some of that good? Okay, got you. Oh, no, I said a glass. I don't do plastic cups. A glass, please. Oh, no problem, I got you. Just get this real quick. So how are you liking the party? Lots of nice variegation up in here. If you say so. You know, this variegation thing, it runs in my DNA, unlike the other variegated plants at this party. Say brother, how much is the Flora Grow green there? The Flora Grow green, $15. Wait, $15? Good Lord, that's a lot of money. Yeah, y'all doing too much with y'all prices. It's just 15. Well, you know what? How about you take your ass over there by that humidifier for free? All right, playboy, chill out now. I got you. Yeah, girl, you know I need a drink. Mr. Bartender. Ooh. Ladies. You know what? Drinks on me. Yeah. How you doing? Anything you need. You know, they be tripping, but you know, I got you. Ooh, don't mind if I do. So you know Briley Marks is at this party. Oh my God, I heard she reverted last week. Yes. And she came here with White Princess. I mean, the White Princess needs to get her pH balance together because no one's trying to see all of those brown spots. I mean, come on. I mean, it's true. That's cold. I swear you talk too damn much. It's messed up. So you coming through or nah? I bet. See you there. Looks like we're having a variegation party. Welcome to Aroid District. Today we are going to look at variegated plants. We're going to talk about variegated plants. I got a little something in this box right here. It is a plant, and are you curious to know what's inside this box? Let's get into it. Hopefully you're not disappointed because it is not much, but I thought it was special. I want to be able to show you guys now. This right here is none other than the variegated micans. So variegated micans. Let's pull up on it. So this variegated micans, it's not much. It's a little honey dip. A little honey dip, don't trip. And I just got it last week and I'm trying to rehab it. If you can see, I put some blue tape because it arrived with the stem cracked. So I just tried to tape that up, and within a week it put out this new leaf here. So this variegated micans is the Aurea variegation. That's the yellow variegation. And what happens is it is polarized where, you know, it comes out looking lime green, and then over time the light will start to bring out whatever type of variegation it's going to have. So I've seen pictures of these things. They can, you know, you get yellow, pink, and all different kind of greens. So yeah, I got plans for this plant. I want to put this on a plank right away, like a moss pole or something, because I want these leaves to get big, and I think that would be cool. But let me just give you a comparison to the regular micans in comparison to this variegated version. So this here is the regular micans alongside the variegated one. As I told you before, this variegated one is not looking its best because I just got it, and it's, you know, it's a rehab process, but I think it's gonna look real dope. But listen, let me tell y'all the truth. The inspiration for me even getting this variegated micans is because I really wanted the variegated melanochrysum. That is my favorite type of variegation. If you ever see a picture of that variegated melanochrysum, it does look similar to this, but of course it's just a bigger Aroid leaf, you know. This was similar enough and it was affordable, so I got it. And I think that I can make these leaves size up. I'm just gonna continue to just grow this one up a pole. As soon as it reaches the top, I'll just keep doing it again because I wanna see how big a mican's leaf can get, especially a variegated version. I think that's dope. So variegation. Let's start by getting some of the geeky stuff out of the way. If you do not know what variegation is on a plant, then utilize your Google search engine. But what causes variegation? From my research, there's two main things that will cause variegation in a plant. So for one, it is a virus that lives within the stem of the plant. This is an Epipremnum pinnatum, and it has, you know, that viral variegation that lives within the stem of the plant. And what happens is, when it comes to the viral variegation, the plant can heal itself from that virus. So let's say the virus was inside of the stem all the way up until this node, and then the rest of the leaves were coming out solid green. That means that the plant healed itself from that virus, and if you and we actually call that reversion. It reverted back to its natural, you know, chlorophyll and solid green color. But if you want to bring back that variegation, you would have to cut it back down to the node where that virus was last had. You know, the last place that you saw a variegated leaf, which is this, you know, the coloring markings caused by that virus that lives in the stem. And the second cause for variegation is a mutation that lives in the entire DNA of the plant, such as this Monstera Thai constellation. If you don't know Monstera Thai constellation, the variegation is a mutation in the DNA. So that means it really got that shit. It ain't the variegation ain't going nowhere. And when it comes to these type of plants, what you see is what you get. So if you see Monstera Thai constellation that has really nice variegation, that's in the DNA. That plant will always put that out. It don't matter if the leaves go solid green or not, it will always come back because the mutation is within the DNA of the plant. So let me say variegation does occur out in nature, out in the wild, but you know, for the most part, what we purchase, the variegation happens in a tissue culture lab. They take a plant and they multiply it in a process called tissue culture, and out of a big large batch, maybe one of those little plants that they multiplied has a virus or a mutation that puts out a certain color. They will then take that one and isolate it and then multiply it, and that's how we get variegated plants. If you understand me, hopefully you do. So when you see all of these nice colors on a variegated plant, let me show you what you're looking at. This here is the first variegated plant that I've ever had as an adult. This is a Ficus tenaciae. And when it comes to the variegation, look at that. It's like a work of art. But I want to show you what you're looking at. Let's take this leaf, for example. When it comes to plant leaves, there's 3 layers of tissue. Okay, 3 layers of tissue. So this plant has a sectoral variegation. If all 3 layers of the tissue have variegation, then it will come out either white or yellow, depending on if it has an albino virus or an aurea virus. You know, so all 3 layers are variegated, so you get this solid white or sometimes solid yellow. If the top layer is variegated, but the underlying layers have chlorophyll, that's what creates this light green or sometimes even gray color. If all 3 layers just have chlorophyll, no variegation, that's what brings about the solid green color. So just with the 3 layers and how the variegation and the chlorophyll comes in different sections of that leaf, that's what makes this array of colors. And it's definitely, like, you know, a work of art. So that's what you're seeing when you see all of these variations of color. So now I want to show you some cool variegated plants that I have in my collection. The first plant that I want to show you all is the Epiprimnum pinnatum marble. I rant and rave about this plant. When I first got it, I propagated it, and I was able to sell quite a few propagations on my Etsy shop. So I want to thank everybody who purchased one of those propagations, because this is an amazing plant, and let me tell you why. Look at the growth pattern of this Epiprimnum pinnatum marble. The reason why I like this plant so much is because it looks well put together. Like when it climbs very neatly. And just look at it in comparison to the Epiprimnum pinnatum albo. Look at that. Look how it climbs. It climbs very scraggly in comparison to the pinnatum marble. And another thing is, look at it. Even when the leaves are small, you still get fenestrations. So this plant can get very big. The leaves can get very big. And once they get very big, they'll be fully fenestrated. So that is the reason why I rant and rave about this one. As far as the variegation, you get a marbled variegation. So when it's, when it has an albo variegation and you get a lot of these green specks that flow through the sectoral variegation, they call that marble. And that's what this plant has. But man, like it's the growth pattern for me. Like the way that it's very neat, and it grows fast for it to not have a lot of chlorophyll. It's a lot of white on this plant, and the plant still grows fast. And look, you notice no brown. No brown on this plant. With all that white, and you don't get all that crispy tips and all of that. So yeah, this is an amazing plant right here. So I'm telling you, this plant does not need any special care. I got some cuttings right here. Let's see. I got these just sitting in the living room. It's very low humidity down here, very dry, very cold. And these cuttings here just sit by the window and they're doing perfectly fine. This does not need any crazy high humidity. It just doesn't need any special care. So this is like the perfect plant to have. I think what the main thing that it needs something to climb up. If you want to get this shingling pattern and you want these leaves to get really big, you definitely want to give it something to climb. And that's it for the Epiprimnum pinnatum marble. These next three plants that I want to show you, they look very similar. I wanted to show you, these three together because they are closely related. A lot of people don't know that the Epiprimnum, the Monstera, and the Rhaphidophora are closely related. They are a part of like some other subgenus, some other pothos, like subgenus that I read about in the past. I can't really give it to you accurately. But, first up we have the Mandula pothos. This is my favorite leaf right here because of that gray and lime green that it has on there. But I have this one growing up a pole, and it's doing fine. This is a self-watering pole, by the way. It's down in that Leca reservoir, and it holds the moisture onto this moss pole a bit longer than if it didn't have that wicking string inside of the pole. But yeah, I like this type of variegation. I like how it comes out sectoral like this, and then over time you start getting the specks in there. That is the Mandula pothos. This right here is the Monstera lechleriana variegated. So I opted out of buying a Adansonii because I like this one better. I like how this one does get big, and we'll see how long it takes to start getting the holes in the leaf, because it does get holes in the leaf just like the Adansonii. It just produces a much bigger leaf altogether. But that one's doing just fine. It's in Leca and it has rooted into that moss pole. And this right here, this is a very rare jewel right here. This is the Rhaphidophora tetrasperma variegated. I just got this when it arrived with all of this burn marks on it and whatnot. But I like it. The variegation on it is crazy. Got the candy cane stem, and yeah, I wanted to get this one on the premium forest right away. Premium forest bendable pole. But check out that variegation. Yeah, so that one is I'm excited to see what happens with this one. This is my philodendron variegated domesticum. This is the mother plant, and this is actually the top cut from this mother plant. Yeah, so this mother plant, she's trying to get her life back together after I did a cut. And I was just, after all that preaching I do, I was very reckless, and I tried to force this leaf open with my hands. And that's why we got these holes here. But despite all of that, she is definitely bouncing back, trying to connect to the pole, and we got new growth after all of that. But I'll let y'all know now, yellow variegation is my favorite. I do like the albo variegation, but it's something about the yellow variegation that looks just a little bit more natural, a little bit more tropical. I mean, just imagine that you're in Hawaii or Bahamas at like a nice expensive resort, and you see a plant like this, just growing up the palm tree and the landscaping. Like it looks very tropical to me, in comparison to the albo variegation. That white variegation, it looks nice and decorative as a house plant, but it doesn't give the same tropical vibes as something like this, in my opinion. You remember earlier in the video, we said we talked about the variegation that's caused by mutation. Well, the philodendron Jose Bono has variegation that is caused by mutation. This is not a virus. The variegation is within the DNA of this plant, a lot like the Monstera constellation. So this plant will never revert. For the most part, it won't revert. And what happens is this one has a lot of green on it, but the fact that it has that variegation in the DNA, it will always come back out with variegation whenever the conditions, are right. And normally those conditions are, if it's warm and it's getting a lot of light, it'll start putting back out a lot of variegation. It never goes away from my experience and from what I have read. So that's the cool thing about the Jose Bono. Bruh, I tell you, I keep moving this desk around trying to find some good light. But on this table, I got an array of variegated Hoya. This right here is the Hoya Bertonier variegated. So I thought I got gypped because these two dark leaves is what I purchased, but these two variegated leaves are what grew in my care. I prefer these rounder shaped leaves. I don't like these elongated leaves that they have that is, that's growing on them. I wish the whole plant would just stay with the round shape. But I know that this is a hybrid, and that's why, we're getting different types of shapes on the leaves. And look at this. This is the Polyneura albo marginata, or the variegated fishtail Hoya. It's growing fast. It's growing fast. I got it as 4 leaves maybe, and it put out these 3 leaves so far. Really nice. And my whole thing is I'm gonna keep it in something small, because I noticed that Hoyas grow faster when I keep it in a small container, and I'll be able to multiply this one rather quickly once it starts to trail. So let's talk about these. This is the Hoya Crassiopetalata Splash. I'm not sure if Splash is considered variegation. I don't know. But I wanted to show you these because the more that I propagate this plant, the more that the splash is just taking over. Look at the amount of splash that's on this one. That's crazy. And I thought it was just only this plant here, but nah, this one as well. It is starting to be more splash than, normal green. And I feel like that's pretty dope. So let us talk about mottled variegation. Mottled variegation is kind of interesting. I'm not a big fan of mottled variegation in comparison to, all the other variegations, but most plants that have a mottled variegation, it is a mutation that is very stable within the plant, meaning that it will not go away. A lot of people don't know, but very popular philodendron painted lady has a mottled variegation. And I believe mottled just means, a lot of speckles going throughout, the plant leaf. So this mottling, it can go away if the plant is getting low light or if the temperature is cold. As you can see during the wintertime, this put out a solid green leaf, no mottling. But soon as springtime came, all of this new growth is starting to put out the mottling variegation. And that is the same thing that happens with the Syngonium mojito, the Philodendron Paraiso Verde. So that mottling variegation, I don't like the way that it goes away when the temperature is cold or the light is low and then comes back when the light is high. But the good thing about it is that it's within the plant's DNA, so it will never go away. This Philodendron Godiana also has that mottling variegation. This is more of a nicer display of mottled variegation because it looks like watercolor. And I'm always in awe of this plant right here just because I like how the backside is, red. Puts out all kind of colors on the underside of this leaf. But yeah, that's the Godiana painted lady. And let's talk about this Syngonium green spot. I believe this is a mottled variegation because during the wintertime, it was putting out these greenish leaves like this. And then now that it's springtime, we starting to get full-on speckles throughout the leaf. And it's kind of cool how the center of the leaf has a little bit of a pink blush. But yeah, Syngonium green spot, it goes up during the springtime. Because this, I can tell this is about to be a full cup soon. It's starting to grow fast now that it's getting better light and warmer temperatures. So yeah, if you have a plant with that mottling variegation, such as like the mottled dragon, Paraiso Verde, all of that, it needs warm temperature and good light in order for that variegation to really be displayed. Check out this little Spathiphyllum peace lily sensation. All right, this is a big deal because this plant is extremely underrated. Yes, it is a peace lily, but it has a very similar variegation, if not the same, as the Monstera No ID. For those of you big ballers out there who know exactly what the Monstera No ID is, that plant costs hundreds or even thousands of dollars. This plant has a very similar variegation. And have y'all seen this plant when it gets big? I'm definitely throwing in a picture because this is going to be a very impressive plant once it, by the end of the summer, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna show y'all what this plant really do. But this plant does put out sectoral variegation along with like a mint variegation. And it looks very similar to that Monstera No ID. So I got this for, little of nothing as a little plug. And I think it's gonna grow fast. It's doing perfectly fine in just LECA. And I'll be happy to report back on how this plant does. This right here is the variegated Philodendron Heartleaf. Philodendron Heartleaf variegated. Shout out to West Tex Aroid Man on Instagram, because I know that he has one climbing up a moss pole as well. And we just in a race to have this thing turn into a beast. I definitely want these leaves to get larger, at least large as my hand, and be able to show off this nice variegation with the bigger size leaf. So we all know that the Florida Beauty is a very nicely variegated plant. Look at that. And I told y'all before that, the Aurea or the yellow variegation is my favorite. This is the new leaf. And, lots of the Aurea variegation is a Polaroid variegation. You see all of that variegation in there. It looks like it's green on green. But what happens is, the Aroid variegation has a Polaroid effect, meaning that when, it hits the light and it starts to harden off, all of that light green will just straight up turn yellow like this. I don't know, it's so cool. Like, variegation is kind of dope the way it happens, especially this Aroid variegation. So what's interesting with this philodendron strawberry shake is this plant has a lot of red chemical in there. It's a hormone or a chemical or something that helps to protect the leaf from being burned. So that red starts to enter the leaf so that the light doesn't burn the leaf. And when this plant has a yellow variegation, that red will enter in to the yellow portions and it will start to look pink. And that is the reason why they call this the strawberry shake. But that ain't nothing but yellow variegation, and just the red that lives inside this plant is coming into the yellow portions to protect it from being burned. So, I mean, it's a lot of interesting things. And the same thing is happening with this variegated micans. I have to show y'all again. The yellow portions is starting to get the pink because the plant is trying to protect that side of the leaf, Listen, there are so many more variegated plants that I have that I would like to show you guys, but they're not gonna make this video because I gotta go. I got things to do. Sorry about that, but I'm gonna make a part 2, or I'm gonna find a way to include, some more variegated plants in future videos, because I have a couple more cool variegated plants that I wanted to show you all. But thanks for joining me on this video. There's a lot to celebrate. That's why I wanted to theme this video variegation party. Because, I mean, whether we celebrate in the springtime, we celebrate, if it's your birthday month, happy birthday. We celebrating getting our income tax return. If you did your taxes, the deadline is near. Hopefully you got that done. Once you get it done, definitely celebrate, because it was a tax for me. But I tell you, on my next video, I think I want to tap into my anthurium collection. I've been learning a lot more about anthuriums lately. And, while I'm hyped on it, I might as well make some content about it. So y'all stay tuned, and I will see you all on the next video. God bless.